But yeah, man, we got a show for y'all today, man. Definitely.
We love doing what we do, man. Y'all go ahead and hit that 5-star rating if you're listening on the podcast right now. Make sure you hit that like button on any of the 3 platforms you will happen to listen to this show on. Man, you know how we do. Oh, God, where we going first, bro?
Well, George Floyd was laid to rest today, Sam, man. I didn't get a chance to see the funeral, but I know I'm seeing a little snippet of it on Instagram and stuff like that. Al Sharpton, had a powerful speech from what I hear. A few people, your celebrities were in the house, but Neo's being dragged on Twitter, Sam, man, for something that he said on the microphone. Let me read a little comment right here. It said 50 states are protesting at the same time. The man changed the world. I just want to thank George Floyd for the sacrifice so my kids will be all right. I appreciate the sacrifice. I really do. That could be taken in a lot of different ways. And that was the first thing I said. I was like, saying, man, is that really dissing him? When you call somebody a sacrifice, you said, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So now that you got a little bit better context of it. Disrespect, or are people justified for having a certain level of vitriol for Neo for saying that? Like, all right, this dude, he sacrificed himself so my kids would be all right.
Yeah, it was an error in judgment on Neo's part right here. I don't think we should condemn the dude for making a dumbass mistake and saying what he said and how he said it. We have plenty of lives that we can put in that seat and put them to sacrifices as well. It's a lot of sacrifices of Black lives that we've seen fall at the hands of the police. And to say and to put George Floyd, even though it was brutal because we got to see it firsthand and everyone while the world was sitting down got to saw it, is, like I said, you put any one of those names in that situation, they can easily be the same. To do it for your children, people gonna take that the wrong way, bro. You just had to be careful. It was wrong timing, yeah, man.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. The way that he shouldn't have put that word sacrifice in there.
Yeah,
he should have put another word, I think, in that, because if you look at the statement, he said 50, states are protesting at the same time. Like, as a result of this man, now things are starting to finally happen. If it's small, you got people now, taking up, putting their money where their mouth is. A lot of companies, a lot of people now, all types of people marching. Not the first time this happened, obviously, but it is the first time I've ever seen 50 states protesting, and countries, France, the UK, as well. And then you seen pretty much when we witnessed this, when George Floyd was murdered, we seen people all over the country revolt. We seen people, be at these marches and just got kind of tired of just the march thing, saying, look, we're going to do something. We're going to tear some shit up. Now, what did it do? People can argue. A lot of people saying as a result of that, the civil unrest, that they now prosecuted the other officers, which don't kind of mean nothing because we got to see them get convicted. First, anything can happen, on the court of law. But that's what I think Neo meant. Like, as a result of this happening, now things are beginning to change. But when he put that word in there, when he put the sacrifice, especially the history of that word and, the celebrities and all that, I mean, it was just a super bad judgment of words, Sam, man. And he's going to have to wear this for a few days, but they will get over it.
Yeah, they'll get over it. And he'll, like you said, you had to bite the bullet for a little bit. And sacrifice can go so many different ways. You got people sacrificing themselves for our freedom. You got people sacrificing themselves for the country. Sacrificing, like you said, a celebrity go a whole different level.
Right.
Wrong word, wrong time. But
you want to see an apology from Neo?
I'm sure he'll apologize. And it'll be...
You think he should?
Yeah. He should apologize. And I think all will be forgiven. And it will be... it was an error in judgment. I don't think that it was anything deeper than that. Bad timing, bad wording, and very emotional time.
Now in the beginning, you were kind of alluding to, were the tears real? What made you say that?
Well, I say that because a lot of motherfuckers' tears aren't.
Yeah.
And a lot of people ride waves. And I didn't get to physically see it, but at the end, for him not to be able to finish the note, it seemed like it was a little acting going on from just listening to it. I know Neo can do his thing. And I was just going to ask, did it look genuine to you? A lot of people going to go up there and gallivant show, but we've seen this shit at fucking personal funerals, let alone a fucking funeral that's going to be nationwide on national TV with the world watching. It's going to be some gallivant going on. I didn't know if Neo was doing any of that gallivant or if he was genuine. Yeah. Not sure.
Right. And, I'm going to say this, man. I'm going to say that, as a result of this, I hope that, because you got people talking about defunding the police now, tearing apart the police department. I'm like, really?
You don't do that.
Yeah, and it's like, it just everything got to be done in a certain way. I don't, necessarily agree with that right off the bat, but it got to be other, I should say, foresight over them. You can't let the police fix the police. It got to be somebody else that comes in and says, all right, this is what we got to do with this, and maybe it'll start with these police having a heart. And instead of it being the first resort to shoot a black man, maybe that's the last resort. Maybe you tase, like we was talking about. You apprehend them. You got so many different things that you can do instead of taking somebody's life, especially for something like you got the man in handcuffs. You got him in handcuffs. Like at that point, it's like, come on, man.
Get your fucking knee off his back. Get your knee out his neck. Stand up. Pick that man up. This protocol. I used to work in security. We had to handcuff people if they got crazy. There was protocol to that. And I was supposed to wear handcuffs. I never even felt comfortable wearing them or putting them motherfuckers on. So anytime it was time to handcuff, they'd be like, Sam, you got your? I ain't got my shit. So I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, fuck that. But there was protocol. It was safety things that you had to go because you got somebody's life in your hand. You could break an arm, dislocate an elbow, and you got somebody in cuffs. They good. Yeah, you gonna sit on your neck while he's laying down. It's hard to. You ain't gonna be able to pop up like that off your stomach and cuffs. Like, dog. Unjust, uncalled for. And you said it best, man. A lot of these cops, it's not defunding them. They need to get proper training and proper etiquette and proper protocol on how to deal with all situations. And that starts with having people that are from the community police the community. If you got somebody that's from the fucking suburbs who's been getting their ass whipped against this certain fucking city their whole life in football, and they got this predisposed fear, and now you give them a badge and a gun, and then God forbid, it's a scuffle going on. That fear mechanism going to kick in, and they think they're in a life or death situation. Well, no, you're equipped to break this situation down, get both parties out of here, especially if there's no gun involved. You wrestling with a motherfucker. There's no reason at all to shoot him if you're a cop. Right. You got a baton, you got this, you got that, you got training. De-escalate the situation, put that motherfucker in cuffs and get them to the station safely. Get you to the safety safely. But nah, it's a whole different game right now. When these, unfortunately, you got white cops that may not look or be racist, but they got that predisposed stereotype and fear in their head. So even if it's a scuffle, bam, 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 like, that motherfucker's gonna kill me. Why? Right. Niggas bleed just like us. Definitely. Hey, man.
Yeah, I mean, once again, man, condolences and rest in peace to the Floyd family. I don't know if you know this stat. They raised over $13 million in GoFundMe for that family, man.
I heard 12 last I heard. So that's incredible. Yeah. Hopefully it goes to the right things and they can take care of his children and everything could be cool for the rest of their lives and set it up right. Better be with 13 million. You know what I'm saying? Set it up the right way. Definitely. But yeah, man, are you tuned into the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast with your brother, Oh God and Sam, man, sitting across the table from me, man. If y'all feeling this podcast, man, if you love that segment, don't forget to hit that 5-star rating. You also got to remember to subscribe to the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast to get all episodes. Sam, man, let's talk about Ice Cube and the Illuminati. Yo, man, about 10 years ago, Illuminati was hot. Everybody was being woken. Everybody was coming out of their religions and shit and going, wait a minute, what's going on? And right there, right in front of us was the Illuminati and what was prominent hip hop. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen it all over the place, the movies, this, that, the third. And then it kind of dissipated. It went away. Everybody was kind of making light of it and all kind of shit. It was almost like, did that really happen? Well, Ice Cube, one of the most prominent actors, directors, people in Hollywood, people in music that we have, has been going on a rant the last couple of days. He's been on Twitter. He's been on IG. Oh, God, the people could see the pictures right here. Yeah. And the caption right here, y'all see, the world will be blackened. Oh, the world will blacken the fucking eye up there. And obviously it's the eye. You know what I'm saying? It's on the dollar bills, the all-seeing eye with middle fingers thrown at it. He also dropped this one. Media, stop pushing the people left or right. Actual facts feed the brain to make its own decisions. Cut the strings above you. Report anyone trying to bully you, not telling the truth. And then he has the Baphomet sitting here like y'all can see. Goddamn. It says not the GOAT. Just Jeffrey Epstein. Yes, Ice Cube is dropping this shit on his social media. You see the diamond with the line across it. You guys can do your symbolism checks and see what that means right there. Very symbolic. And then this one's very telling right here, oh God, because I think we were talking about this, whether it be in pre-production or on the show. We are all the same gang. And you see all of the Mason symbols throughout time going through the police forces. Obviously, we know about Freemasonry. We've had discussions about that on this show. Whew! Ice Cube going in. What do you think, man?
Again, man, I mean, it's I'm not gonna say it's no secret because everybody doesn't see the structure of what's really going on in America, and we see it now more so than ever. That even like in a pandemic now, is certain companies, who are positioned in a way where they're good. You know what I mean? And you got to ask yourself, these companies, they fund certain politicians and these companies have certain agendas, you know what I mean? And I think Kansu, who's a Mason himself, I guess I shouldn't have said that, but he talks about, how it's, how people will get these different companies that kind of hide behind different names and the fun things. So you might not never know, but one thing we do know is that there are rich, powerful families that got their hands in a lot of the assets and wealth of the country that call a lot of shots. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whether that be your record labels, in the music industry, in another industry, it could be something else, but they're sitting at the top, of that industry. Their companies, you know what I mean? They might own, let's just say, for example, they own Burger King and McDonald's, and they just gave them two separate names, but it's one owner. Yep. It's a situation like that. So, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's real, man. And even that whole symbolism thing about the Masons and, the Illuminati and stuff, it goes back to something. It goes back to corporations that run this world, that set policy, that fund the politicians, and ultimately put on a puppet show, and that, control can go into mass media as well. Your bigger companies, I'm not going to name none of them. You can put two and two together, but there's people. If I own a company, if Sandman owns Viral Hip Hop News, I own Hip Hop News Uncensored, that means we can control the message that's going to come out. So that's to say, if I own, somebody who is an elitist, a global elitist, they own a share, 60 or 70% share in CNN. They put out whatever the fuck they want to put out. Yeah. And if you own all five of them, all the major companies, you can put out whatever you want to put out and control people the way you want to control people. So it's a book. I forget the name of the book, but it goes into that, man. Advertising, marketing, is a big thing. It's a master manipulator of the people. They could tell you that, a UFO is coming, and everybody be running around thinking a UFO is coming because they showed you a fake something on the news that it was happening. You would think that it's actually happening. So not to get too far crazy into it, but some people know this, and at some point they expose it. And I think that's what Ice Cube is doing right now. You can take it or leave it.